I'm just checking the cabinet. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Paul Gilbert. Now, he's doing something that a lot of players of his standard and capabilities have to do now. They're called fly gigs, one-offs, when you have to go somewhere armed with a guitar and maybe some pedals, and then rely on a hire company, in our case Sweetwater, to provide you with an amplifier to do your gig. So they call them, some will call it throw and go. This is not throw and go, this is a fly gig. So Paul needs to come here comfortable that he can have his rig, his tone ready to rock. So he's going to run us through his fly rig. And if you see this thing behind me, this is not a coffin. This is actually his flight case that he puts a guitar and this pedal board. And this is his rig. So he asked us for two things. Well, four things actually. Food, coffee, water, 5 things. A Marshall 4x12 regular 1960A loaded with 75 watt Celestions, and a JTM 45 Marshall head, which is set surprisingly clean, as you'll hear in a minute. Now the rest is Paul, his guitar and his pedal. So I'm gonna let the man run you through his fly rig and why it works. So Mr. Gilbert, over to you, my friend.
All right, my pedal board is covered with Velcro, which is very important, so I can switch things out at will and experiment and just tweak away, which is fun. Today, I think I've got a pretty good tweak going on. I like this set of pedals. I'm gonna let you hear it first with everything off, so you can just hear the guitar and amp, and that's pretty clean. Very clean, and let's start adding stuff in. The most important pedal that I've got on all the time, because I'm a rock player, so I like to have some distortion, is my TC Electronic Mojo Mojo. So already, you know, it's a little more compressed, but it's still got a nice tone. And, you know, if I want to, I'm trying to think of what my ultimate sound check riff is, probably Stone Cold Fever by Humble Pie. If that sounds good, I'm all set. Now the next thing is depending on the room I'm playing in, sometimes you play in a wet room that's got a lot of natural reverb. Sometimes it's really dry. Today it's pretty dry, which I like actually. And I've got not one, but 2 pedals that are gonna help me have it not be so dry. I got this idea from looking at Eric Johnson's pedal board, because he had more than one delay. So I've got an Alter Ego TC Electronic, a little bit of delay on there. Already, it sort of takes the fear away a little bit. My endings have a tail now. But it's subtle enough where, unless I point it out like I did now, you might not even notice it. The next thing is I have a Topanga spring reverb pedal. I don't think there's a spring in there, it just sounds like a spring reverb, by Catalan Bread. Now these 2 are the last things in the pedal board, because it's nice to have these post distortion. They tend to sound, both delays and reverbs tend to sound better when they're after the distortion. So now I've just got a nice smooth tail on everything. All right, so there's my basic tone. Now let's go through the other distortion pedals I've got, because those are kind of important. Now with this amount of distortion, to me, I'm comfortable playing rhythm with this sound. Maybe if I wanted to do a solo where I can stop. What do I mean by that? I mean, even if I'm really loud, this is a small enough amount of distortion where I could actually stop and not turn down the volume. I could leave it up. And it's not going to howl and hiss and feedback. It's controllable, which really is sort of takes the fear away a little bit. And I can do licks like. And I can put those stops in there. It's still my habit to turn the volume down from years of playing too loud and too distorted. But that's my basic tone. Now, if I still like to have too loud and too distorted, so that's why I have 2 more overdrive pedals, or distortion pedals. I don't even know the difference. But the first one is an AC booster by Exotic Effects. Now, you may not even be able to tell the difference that much from listening, but boy, I can tell the difference the way it feels, the way the instrument feels. I'm a little less likely to put stops in, because especially at a higher volume, it's going to be a little noisier. they're more likely to feed back, but that's all right. You know, with rock, you don't always need to stop. You can just keep going. And the AC booster has a treble and bass control on it, and I tend to keep this for the a little more metal. And if I want to need something that's tight and muted, I would tend to use the AC booster. And again, this is all pedals that are before the Mojo Mojo, so they're pushing the front end of the Mojo Mojo. There's without it, there's with it. Just a little more teeth. You can hear it a little bit, I can feel it a lot. The next one is the Supro Drive. Especially in the low strings, do you hear how it's got that spongy? I can't play that without making a face. That just sounds so good. So the attack of this one, it's not as tight. It's a little bit more, it's a little wider. And in the same way that, you know, if you've got, you know, the AC booster is like putting skinny people in the back seat of a car. You can fit more of them. The Supro Drive is like putting some big people in the back of your car. And maybe not as many can fit. You got to play a little slower, but, you know, they're big. Especially you get down to that low end and just the attack on that. That's very 1972 somehow, which I really like. So those are my distortion pedals. Now I've got three more. I don't know if they're time-based effects, what these are, but one is the gotta have the MXR Phase 90. There's a variety of those, and I like the one with the LED and the Script logo. It looks cool and sounds good, and you know, it's just Van Halen 1 in a box. You know, when you go for your sorry, and my slide fell off. So that's so much of Van Halen 1, which was, you know, an astounding record and a huge influence on me, has that sound on the guitar solos, and it's just nice to have it. And it gives the, well, let's hear it. Let's see if you put, without it, and with it, it's almost like a really subtle automatic wah-wah. But it's got its own character. And to me, it's good that it's automatic, because I'm a fairly clumsy wah-wah player. So with this, I don't have to worry. I just put it on, and it does it for me. It's really nice for tremolo picking, because tremolo picking is all the same. You know, you're playing the note with the same dynamic. But with the phase shifter on, it sort of has this real subtle shift to it, a phase shift, of course, that's what it is. But it really makes tremolo picking come alive, and it's one of those boxes that when I step on it, I feel like everything just got a little easier to play. So I like that one. Another one is, I'm a huge Robin Trower fan, so I'm also always searching for the ultimate kind of roto vibe, Deja, whatever. And this one is a new pedal I just bought a couple days ago. It's a Villanova, or a Villanova, if I use the correct pronunciation, I'm not sure, by Mojo Hand. And I've got it set pretty subtle. It's got a mix knob on it, so I can really dial it back to just be real subtle. But, you know, I've even though I moved to Portland and pot is legal, I have never tried pot in my life. I don't need to, because I've got this. Let me play a little better, so I will take another. So that's the The pedal, and again, it goes a lot more crazy if you wanted to, but I find because a lot of times I start sobering up and I want to go a little quicker, I don't want the effect to cloud my speedier stuff. So that's why I said it, if I can still, shred a little bit. And those notes still come through nice and clear. All right, the last one is an experiment. It's a Jimi Hendrix wah-wah pedal by Crybaby, and it's the little teeny one. It's the mini, and I've got a giant foot. So in theory, this is going to be dangerous. But the more I play it, the more. It sounds really good. How can you go wrong with a Hendrix wah-wah? And let's see if I can get it going with a in time. If I do like the old Robin Trower. And that's really pretty good.
That was really good.
So, tonight I'm going to try this for the first time standing up, and we'll see how it flies. But it certainly flies well when I go on the airplane because it's small and it fits in the case and the mini like that. So I've got high hopes.
One other question I should ask you. The amp is set up to be very pedal friendly. Obviously this guitar is very pedal friendly too. What are the pickups?
These are such nice pickups. They are actually my own brand new signature pickup from DiMarzio, the PG13 mini humbucker. This one wound, specifically for the bridge position. This one wound for the neck. We're actually working on a middle one now for the guitar next year. But they just always sound good. It's nice when you have a piece of gear that just works right away. No tweaking, you just put it on, you just go like, oh, I don't have to, I can play now, and these pickups are like that. And I've had a lot of different pickups in the Fireman over the years. I've had hum canceling single coils, a variety of humbuckers, and I just find myself picking up this guitar more than anything else.
The other thing that we have to talk about is drills. You're famous for drills, but this will not pass the test. And it's nothing to do with the brand or the color. It's to do. You have custom drills now, correct?
Well, as with guitar gear, vintage is often the sought-after thing. And I began with a Makita drill back in the 80s, and it was big, and it did something that the drills at that time did, which the new drills do not do. And I had to have this Makita custom made in order to wind down. When you let go of the trigger, it goes down, and it winds down. Now, let me see that one. The other brand.
Not the same.
It's not the same. It doesn't have the wind down. There we go. And then you put your 3 or 4 picks. In the 80s, I used 3 picks. New technology, I now have 4 picks on the end of the drill. They spin around. It's important to have it in forward so when you look at it, they're going clockwise. And you have to battle the noise of the end of the drill engine a little bit, but you can get notes out of it. So it's ridiculous, but it always makes people smile and clap, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And there's one other thing I've got to ask you is, what's going on there, my friend? What is going on there?
This is my new invention. Nobody wants to hear me play the blues, but that's because I haven't practiced enough. And that's because the slide, even if you've got one, where is it? It's in the drawer somewhere. Yeah. And so I thought, actually, it all came from the fact that I had this little stud finder magnet, and my son was playing with, what's more fun than playing with magnets. So he had it, and he happened to have a slide, and they stuck together really well. And I thought, wait a minute, if you put powerful magnets under the pickguard, I had my guitar tech route out a little place in there. He took 2 zip ties and taped them on with a piece of gaffer tape so it has a little seat, and it won't come off. And it's right there, so you can do a really quick little, You just got to have the, you got to use the pick scratch
As the gap, yeah.
as the way to, to fill
As
up the little
your pause.
space. But, and I should mention that my .50 millimeter Tortex picks are the ultimate for pick scratches.
Really?
Because a lot of people that play, kind of shred guitar, they use really thick picks.
Right.
You can't get a good pick scratch from a thick pick.
What makes the thing
That wasn't even that good of a one. Now that I put the pressure on, but overall, they're so good for pick scratches.
Have you worked out the reason why? Is it just
They're thin, so they get
give
into
a
the
bit more-
groove.
Oh, right, yeah, so they really dig in.
Yeah, they really dig in. The
That
other ones just
makes
sort of slide over
sense.
the top.
Yeah, it digs into the, in between the wraps
Yeah.
almost. Cool.
And I got to check to make sure, but I'm pretty sure the very first sound that you hear, interruption, is a pick scratch.
I think you could be right.
It's the most life-changing piece of guitar, and it opens with a pick scratch, so it's got to be important.
Last thing I should ask is string gauges.
I follow the B.B. King philosophy of why make life difficult on yourself? And so I've got, depending on the state of my calluses,
Right.
and I just got back from Hawaii, so my calluses are in horrible shape right now. I've got 8 to 38, so because the test to me is the BB bend. If you're going
Oh, the first
that
finger bend, yeah.
first finger whole step, that's a painful bend, and I don't want to fear that bend. I want to be able to go for it without fear, and so with 8s, I can get that. And of course, just endless. I just want to be able to do that all day. It'll. If I had 9s on here, it would sound a little better. If I had 10s, it would probably sound even better still.
Could you? But then you'd fear the bend.
But then I would fear the bend, and I'd be going.
And what brand of strings, by the way?
These are Ernie Ball.
Cool.
I love them. Oh, and actually, they're RPS, which is it has the extra reinforced thing on there because I don't often use a whammy.
Right.
And so it's nice to have that thing. And they make some new super duper string that begins with a P, I think. And I've used those are good too.
So there you have it. Regardless of the letter or letters before, they're all good. Paul, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Stonehenge.